the aim of these two verses is that all of life becomes worship, right? Present your bodies, your bodily life, as a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. In other words, the aim of all life, the aim of human life is that God in Christ be displayed as infinitely valuable. Right? That's what life is for. To live your life in such a way that by what you say, what you think, what you feel, what you do with your arms and your lips and your eyes and your legs and your hands will show He's more valuable than anything. That's what worship is. Showing God's value, supreme value over all other things. So if you have a job, do your job in a way that shows that Christ is supremely valuable. And if you can't do that at your job, either change jobs or do verse 2 better. Let's look at verse 2 now. Do not be conformed to this world, but, positively, be transformed in the renewing of your mind so that something different happens at work. That by testing you can discern the will of God that is good and acceptable and perfect, and God begins to look valuable in your life to other people. He looks valuable. God looks valuable when I look at you. God looks infinitely worthy when I look at you. When I look at you, it looks like you value God more than money. It looks like you value God more than power. It looks like you value God more than illicit sex. So what's with you? I want to know the reason for the hope that is in you. You probably don't have to change jobs. That would probably be a mistake. That's not going to solve the problem. But verse 2 will solve the problem. And that's what we're going to think about for a while here. Verse 2 is Paul's answer to the question how all of life becomes worship in verse 1. So don't just change your external behavior. It says, be renewed in the spirit, in your minds. Be, verse 2, in the middle of the verse, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Now, I got to step back and get a little Paul theology in here so that being renewed is understood in the context of what's really happened to you, Christians. If anyone is in Christ, this is 2 Corinthians 5:17, he is a new creation. Okay? That's just a rock-solid statement about you. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. So now the new gets renewed, right? I mean, verse 2 of Romans 12 says, be renewed in the spirit of your mind. So you're already new, now get new. That's the Christian life, right? Those of you who are familiar with the way Paul talks, that's the way he talks. For example, 1 Corinthians 5:7, cleanse out the old leaven, that you may be a new lump of dough, because you are really unleavened. What a paradoxical way to talk, right? You are unleavened. Get the leaven out. Well, if I'm unleavened, I don't have leaven to get out. Yes, you do, unleavened. You are perfectly unleavened, so get the leaven out. That's the genius and the mystery of the Christian life. That's how justification and sanctification work, right? Because I'm justified and seen as unleavened in Christ, get the leaven out. If you're not getting the leaven out, that is the leaven of sin, out of your life, you're probably bearing witness that you're not justified by faith. You're very content with your sin. That by testing, you might discern, that you might prove or approve. It's just a wonderful word there in Greek, dokimazo, to not just to know what something is, but to approve it. Both ideas are there. Like, that's the will of God, and I like it. Both of those are happening in this word here. To prove what is the will of God means I detect it, I discern it, this is the way to go, and I'm going there, I like it. That he's not saying, I want you to know the will of God and snub your nose at it. So it's not just know the will of God, it's know it and approve it that's going on here in verse 2.